Hello friends, EDDBUD here. Today another volley from Puma's recently updated running shoe lineup. This time a super light but also super affordable model, the PUMA Liberate Nitro. So an initial review today of the PUMA Liberate Nitro. This one comes in as their tempo shoe, I suppose, of their new lineup. Somewhere between the Velocity Nitro and the DV8, and I think there's another one as well, some carbon plate super light thing. I haven't seen that or tested it out, so I have purchased this one with my own Earth credits, so you know you get my honest views. This one's ridiculously light, comes in at 220 grams for my UK size 11. Comparing that up against the Takumi Sen 7, which I think is about 210, and then of course you got the Run Fast Pro, which is about 128 grams, so I think it's probably about the third lightest shoe in my collection. You get 7.7 ounces worth of running shoe for your 90 Earth credits. Although I managed to grab them on a discount for only 75 Earth credits, so it's darn good. There's no manufacturer info whatsoever about the drop on this shoe. It doesn't feel massively different to the Velocity Nitro that I tested out a couple of weeks back. So a very lightweight shoe and a light price. So, where's the catch? Puma do specifically state that this one's for short distance runs. So what does that mean, short distance? Does that mean like 3 miles, 6 miles? We shall find out. There was a viewer did mention to me that they'd taken it on a 10-mile run and did start to get some problems in the heel, some rubbing there on the Achilles, so I have been warned. Hey cats, remember you can really help the channel out a huge amount by purchasing a couple of items from the store. There's t-shirts, there's hoodies, there's mugs, you know what to do. And also, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when we launch those new videos for you. And it really helps with the YouTube algorithm if you give this video a thumbs up like. Otherwise it doesn't get much more light and airy. I mean, there's sections of the shoe you can practically see through. Gives me a bit of an SL 20.2 vibe though in terms of the upper material.
It does feel quite synthetic.
A little padding round here in the heel counter, which is very similar to a couple of different shoes, the Pegasus Turbo 2 being one of them, and the other one the Hyperion Elite 2. A whole host of eyelets make for one slightly strange looking shoe. Not sure it's everyone's cup of tea, but I kinda like it. I guess in some ways it almost looks like a basketball shoe, doesn't it? I just can't say I'm a real fan of that bin bag like upper though. The midfoot wrap here does create some lockdown over the top of the foot, and the shoe doesn't really feel that present at all on foot. It really is that light. The mesh here in the Liberate Nitro really isn't too far away from that used in the Takumi Sen 7. Slightly more roomy fit here than the Sen 7. Will I go true to size? Yes, I think you'd have to go true to size. Any longer and I think you're going to get some problems in terms of lockdown. As I said, some padding around the ankle, but there's absolutely zip in the back of the heel. I mean, the only thing that provides any structure there is this sort of suede-like piece at the very end of the heel. I think you're going to have to be a little bit mindful about sock selection with this upper. The tongue's actually one of the most padded parts of the whole upper. Quite wide, and that's quite a welcome thing. There is a touch of give to the laces. The eyelet holes just seem a little bit too big, in fact. I'd like it if there was a little bit more grip to the eyelets around the laces. You kind of cinch them tight and they just slip through again. And it does make it a little bit harder to get a good lockdown in the shoe. Certainly a very minimalist vibe going on here. And a weight which is unmatched really in anything else that's out there on the market. If you're after stability though in the upper, then this shoe simply isn't going to cut it. If you run in the Pegasus Turbo 2 or the Run Fast 3 for example, it's that sort of level of stability around your foot. Not a lot. I gotta be honest, my toes got catapulted towards the end of the shoe, no matter how much I cinched down the laces, and I think the upper's probably the part of the shoe that I like the least. There just isn't an awful lot of containment there, and if you're running at faster paces, and I did a few faster miles on today's effort, then you're gonna feel it. I have to say I didn't encounter any heel slip today on the run, using some medium thickness socks, but this shoe's all about ensuring some good lockdown to make it work. You've got to try and achieve some consistent lace pressure there over the top of the foot, and as I say, those eyelets allow the laces through a little bit too easily. So after my initial run in the shoe, I'm going to give it a 2.3 out of 3 for upper.
Midsole now.
Nitro foam here again in the Liberate Nitro. No carbon plates though. It's just the foam. Very light, very flexible. It does feel like there's a lot more give to it than other nitro foams that I've tried out, namely the Hyperion Tempo. That one felt a little firmer to me. This is just like a mint aero on the bottom of your foot. That weird TPU piece in the heel there doesn't really seem to go anywhere. I shined some light through the shoe, and you'll see here on screen now, I'm not entirely sure that it even goes underneath your foot. What's that all about? Underfoot, this shoe feels very much like its own vibe. It's out on its own, it's doing its own thing, and that's okay. Certainly more forgiving on foot than the Run Fast 2 or 3. There's more rebound than the Float Ride foam found in the Energy 3. And there's a clear 80 gram difference between this and the Velocity Nitro that I tried out a little while back. I mean, it almost feels like a completely different shoe due to that weight difference. Quite effective at pace, though it was a little tougher on today's effort. There was some headwinds there as per usual. There always seems to be headwind where I live. And the long run yesterday as well, which took a little bit more out of me. Gotta be honest, did fall asleep on the sofa for an hour and a half earlier. If anyone wants some tips falling asleep, I really recommend just running about 50 miles in a week and then sit on your sofa on a Monday afternoon. Put on some sounds of a winter cabin, you know, the rain sort of hitting the window. You'll fall asleep in no time at all. One thing I love about this shoe and the midsole is you can really crank up the cadence at will. And it seemed to keep my heart rate really low today. I don't know what that was all about. I certainly got some good paces going on a few of the miles, and my heart rate was much lower than usual, much higher cadence, so yeah, maybe slightly more efficient possibly. I'm certainly hitting somewhere towards those half marathon target paces that I've got. And yeah, the shoe was just really smooth underfoot. Certainly the Garmin liked my run today. It stated that it was highly effective from an aerobic point of view. It did berate me this morning, my watch, and say I was in recovery mode, and I thought, seriously? I think it does it just to make you go out and run. So get out there, boy, come on. I've got to say the shoe felt good at more conservative paces as well. I wasn't expecting it to feel that good. I thought this is going to be an out-and-out tempo shoe, and higher possibly, but no, it felt absolutely fine. So a higher rebound feel than the Pegasus Turbo 2, more engaging to me than the Run Fast Pro, and certainly more cushioned than the Adidas Adizero Takumi Sen 7. Though I did feel it starting to bottom out towards the end of those 7 miles today, and that gave me vibes about the Pegasus Turbo. That was always my issue with that shoe. It just felt like it started to bottom out at a certain point. So I'm going to give this a 2.6 out of 3 for the midsole after my initial run. Outsole now. Outsole wise, it's a forefoot and midfoot protrusion party. Good size lugs here and luxurious grip. A traction triumph with only a meagre Oliver style scraping of rubber in the rear of the shoe. Not sure what it's made of, but it's certainly slick, abrasive and perfect in terms of depth. Puma seemingly setting a new standard for outsole rubber. I really like the fact that they've actually cut part of the midsole out as well, so the rubber sort of sticks on. It's not just totally flush. Very good, Puma, very good. You cats are certainly invested in your rubber outsoles. Very impressive on grass, road and gravel, all the normal stuff. I think grip that Nike should be envious of. I think they need to pull their finger out a little bit. Can you imagine a Next Percent with like Continental rubber grip, or Goodyear or something like that? Make it happen, Nike, come on. Superior lug spacing here should deter any thrill-seeking stowaway stones. 2.8 out of 3 for the outsole after my initial runs.
Value.
Value-wise, a retail of 90 Earth credits. It's good. I mean, Puma really are bringing it with the pricing on some of their shoes. Very, very competitive. They're not messing about. They're looking and saying, Pegasus 37? Really? Daily shoe? 115? Loads of people sending them back? We can do better than that. They're quickly winning over lots of runners with their shoe lineup this year. Lots and lots of people testing them out, and it's very pleasing to see that. I think this lighter offering could be a superb shoe for people looking for something a little bit faster. Something for those tempo days. I'm not sure it's one you'd want to use all the time. Not sure my toes would take it, in fairness. But something feather-like for faster sessions, it's your shoe. Is the upper going to cut it though? Perhaps if you're a heavier built runner, I would say probably no. I think some lighter runners, both male and female, could get some good mileage out of the shoe, but that thinner midsole and the lack of support in the upper is going to be a bit of a deal breaker for some people. Would I pick this over the Mach 4? From a personal perspective, I think yes, I would. Though I feel the Mach 4's got a little bit more going for it in terms of daily use. It's just got a bit more containment and stability there. A wild stallion of a shoe, this one. It really doesn't want to be tamed either. I don't think it should be tamed as a daily shoe. I think this is one for wild running. It's like the Beatles before Brian Epstein started to manage them and he got rid of their leather jackets. He stopped them eating their sandwiches on stage and he said, "You guys need to pull your finger out. You need to be more professional." I'm pretty sure he didn't sound like that. He probably sounded completely different. "I want you to wear these nice suits." Yeah, this isn't that shoe. This shoe's more of a rocker. A neo-rave European techno stomper. And I like it. I think even at the retail price of 90 Earth credits, it's worth your attention. And definitely at the sale price when that comes back. Just don't expect a family saloon of a shoe. It's got no responsibilities, this one. It's a fast sports car. Maybe even one that you need to keep in the garage for a little while and do some work on to get it back to its former glory. It's one for the discerning enthusiast. I'm going to give it 3 out of 3 for value because I think at £75 for a shoe that's so light, so nimble, and that I can put to use for some faster sessions, it ticks all of those boxes. What more do you want, you know? Can't even buy yourself 2 PlayStation games for that these days, can you? What's the world coming to? Ridiculous. You know, a pizza costs £18 these days, doesn't it? I mean, you could just not eat a few pizzas and buy yourself a Liberate Nitro instead. So if I've totaled the scores up correctly, that gives us 10.7 out of 12 after my initial run in the PUMA Liberate Nitro. Have you picked this shoe up? What did you make of it? I picked it up and I almost threw it in the air because it's so darn light. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Musical interlude time. Okay, today's musical interlude comes courtesy of Ben Folds. His album from 2002, entitled Ben Folds Live, is still one of my favourite live albums. It's just him, a piano and a mic. It is fantastic. Although, you do have to consider the audience as well. They play a big part in this live recording. There's some great versions on here. Zach and Sarah, track 2. Beautiful. My man pounds those piano keys. He really does. Thunderous sounds. I really love Silver Street as well, where he's talking about how somebody stayed in the same place for quite a while and these other people come and go. Yeah, I kind of feel a little bit like that sometimes. This album's got a lot of connections to me personally. I really love track 4, which is the best imitation of myself. I always try to be myself, not to copy others, not to follow others, to do my own thing. And I think that's a really important thing to have in life. You know, teach your kids, be themselves, be who they want to be. Don't be dictated to by anybody. Be open, be honest. I think it's a really important thing. And also track number 7, which is called One Down, where it sounds like Ben Folds is talking about writing songs to order. Now, certainly with YouTube and things like that, you often see some YouTubers there making videos, perhaps not because they want to, they're making videos because they feel like they have to. I don't know if it comes across, but I'm very excited about making videos. I'm very excited about shoes, I'm excited about running and music and films and comics and clothes and people and family, guitars, amplifiers, IT, innovation, excitement really. And that's pretty much been the same since I was about 4 or 5. I felt the same way about the world. It's like a really exciting place. And I think when it gets to that point, those YouTubers just need to stop. Because if it's not fun, it's not exciting, and you're not coming across as being excited by it, why are you doing it in the first place? That's not a good place to be. I've seen loads of bands when they come on stage and they play and you're stood there thinking, these people don't really want to be there. Whenever I go on stage, I play that gig like it's the last gig I'm ever going to play. It's the same with a race. You've got to leave it out there. You've got to do that race like it's the last race you're ever going to run. Why bother doing it otherwise? There is a rocking version of Tiny Dancer on this album as well. Do go and check that one. And later in the album we've got My Philosophy, which, yeah, all of those tracks mean a lot to me in terms of being myself and putting across my energy and trying not to be ever reined in by anything at all. keeping the energy flowing out in whatever manner it is, whether it's hitting some bass guitar strings, smashing a 5k out, or spreading that good energy and vibe. And that's how this album always makes me feel. So do go and check it out. Ben Folds Live, back from 2002 by Mr. Ben Folds. Okay guys, time for me to rock and roll out of here and eat some more of my wife's wonderful pizza bites that she's made. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. And it really helps out with that YouTube algorithm if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you